Yeah, that's really what I'm most proud of is the kind of what we've created here with the people that come in. I don't know. It's when I walk through, I like practically know everybody's name, which is to me might sound cliche, but I think it's like one of the best parts of it for sure.
And that was Mark from 2 Weeks Notice Brewing Company on this week's episode of Brew Roots. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Brew Roots, where we tell the stories behind your favorite beer. This is sound guy Ryan, and joining me, as always, is Erica and Matt.
Well, not as always. I wasn't here last week.
You
Yeah,
were
that's true.
not.
You conveniently didn't mention me at all in the intro.
Yeah, we thought we'd try something different.
Yeah, it went a lot smoother.
I thought it was a lot better without me, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe,
Wow.
Erica, you and I should start a new podcast.
Yeah.
You should call it Brew Root.
Or Root Brew.
Root Brew.
Yeah.
Root Beer Brew.
Yeah. I like
We
it.
are Brute.
You guys should just interview root beer people. Well, how's everyone been? It's been a week since I've seen you. 2 weeks almost.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Which is appropriate with our guest this week.
2 weeks
you mean,
notice.
are we interviewing 2 weeks notice?
I think we're interviewing 2 weeks notice.
Wow.
But I didn't give my 2 weeks notice of Brew Roots.
Oh.
No,
Sorry,
you did
listeners.
not. No, I mean, I've been having a good week. Been drinking a lot of great beer. Really supporting some of those local guys and also the local packies. Who
Local
need the help.
girls, guys, and
The local
everyone.
people.
Local
The
people.
local peeps.
Yep.
But I'm also like just super excited for this week's interview. I had a blast at 2 weeks notice.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. No,
That was a fun time.
I
Yeah.
drank lots of beer.
Mark was just a great guy.
Oh, Mark loves wrestling, which I found out, and I love wrestling. So that,
Yeah, so if you're out there.
yeah, fortunately for our listeners, the wrestling talk does not go into the episode. But
It does not.
Mark and I are going to do another podcast someday just talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
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 But we also want to thank you for tuning in last week with Zealous Brewing. Again, we had a lot of fun. And again, I mentioned it last week. It's just very fascinating as a brewer, taking a different approach to brewing beer, with the added salts and the mineral profiles. Like, you definitely taste it, and it's different, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm starting to run a marathon because of Zealous.
God bless your soul.
Good luck, sir.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to be super fit. And
I don't
drink
lie to
beer.
myself, so I can't do that.
I told so many people on the interwebs that Sound Guy Ryan's going to be running a marathon. Oh, you're fucked.
I might get a mile.
Yeah. So what have you guys been drinking? There's been so many good beers this week.
What have we been drinking?
I can go on right a rant right here.
I had some 2 weeks notice, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had their Kolsch. I have a couple more IPAs from them in my fridge that I didn't get to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I've been drinking.
Yeah.
Let's see. This weekend I stopped by Sylvaticus in True North, so I had some beers over there.
Nice.
And this past week I've been trying to go through some of my Zealous beer. Today I've consumed some Springdale. They had like a raspberry hibiscus sour, which slapped.
Slamp.
And then also a New England IPA from Night Shift. What was it? It was called How You Doing or something like that.
How you know?
How do you know?
Good and you?
Yeah, good and you. How are you? I don't know. It was one of them.
Yeah, it's based off of that show.
Yeah, it was good. It
can't
was
think
really
right
good. It was super light, very crushable. I think it was rocking like a 6%, and I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
I mean, I did after a few beers, but other than that, yeah, it's just been the usual stuff.
I do actually remember what I did this past week now.
Yeah, tell us.
Sometimes it takes me
you
a few
remember?
minutes. Yeah, yeah. So I
Erica's
took a
reading
trip.
her journal.
Yeah, actually. My Mass Brewers Guild app, which I love. I check in all my breweries there. I went to Burke's Ale Works, Old Colony, and Black Hats. I did a little trip after work one night. And,
Yeah, I guess so.
Got a bunch of beer to go.
How long was that trip?
It took me like an hour plus to get there.
No kidding.
But it's
was
gonna be
worth
worth it. Yeah. No, it's definitely awesome. I'm up to 92 stamps.
Holy shit.
Just saying.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Savage.
So that's my story.
So because I'm running marathons, thanks to Zealous Brewing Company, I haven't been drinking a ton, but I did get my hands on that Night Shift beer that we were talking a bunch of crap about.
Oh, the pumpkin one.
The pie scraper.
Yeah.
I'm
The pumpkin
sorry.
scraper.
It's- I love everyone from Night Shift. Like,
Pie scraper, pumpkin pie scraper is what it's
Yeah.
called. It was so good, Ryan. I think you would have actually liked it.
You should bring one. Why didn't you
I
bring
have
one?
two left. Yeah, I have 2 left.
Bring them in.
Again,
We'll test them.
I love everyone I know from
Yep.
Night Shift.
You're gonna
Love them
drink
to
it.
death. I'm not gonna drink it.
Yep, you are.
Because I don't consider that beer.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, this was a good beer, and
Whatever you say. All right, you know what? I'll try it. You have to bring it next week. I'll try it. All you Night Shift people listening this week, you're gonna listen
Come
next
back
week.
next week.
And
Come
you're,
back for
you're
more.
gonna hear my opinion.
Yeah.
And again, I don't hate you. It's just
Live
it's
opinion.
Just me.
We'll
it's why
live
I don't
IG
drink
it.
these beer and I rate them, and I don't rate them on tap because they're not the styles I drink, and I don't want to give them a bad rating because I don't like them. There's no point.
yeah, well, and that,
Cool.
and
Cool.
on that note, I drank another style of beer you don't like.
Was it Imperial?
Yeah, I got an
pastry?
Imperial Stout. I
Yes.
can't remember what it was, but I remember that I drank it really quick, and then I went to bed. So
Solid night right
something
there.
maple bourbon bullshit.
Okay.
It was great.
Cool. Cool.
Mighty Squirrel's coming out with a new Imperial Stout. You told
James.
JP,
yeah.
It's like, oh, safe sound guy Ryan
Same
one, and I'm like,
sound
no.
Yeah, they're coming out with cookies and cream
Ooh.
Imperial, which I
Fun.
love Oreos, so
Yeah.
sign me the fudge up.
That lactose.
Yeah. So the reason I've been looking for more pumpkin beers because that's actually a style of beer that my girlfriend likes.
Oh, cool.
So
cool.
the Mass Brew Bros, as you guys know, we've been talking about them the last couple of weeks. It's my mission to kind of get some of the breweries that have had it. So I want to try. I've been trying my hardest to get the frickin' Treehouse one.
And
I haven't gotten it
oh,
because a couple people that we need to communicate with has been saying we want Treehouse beer, and I was like, if I'm gonna get a Treehouse beer, it'd be really funny to send a pumpkin beer.
oh my god, yeah.
So
That would
I just
be
kind of want to get like a 4-pack
hilarious.
of it. But other than that, I mean, yeah, Oktoberfest has been kind of over for a little while. Rest in peace, Oktoberfest.
Yeah, no, I there's a couple late bloomers coming out.
Yeah.
In terms of Oktoberfest coming out a little, on the later side, but well worth the wait. My opinion. Yeah,
And the fact that I still have I have so many Oktoberfest beers in my fridge that
it's the best view of your fridge. Like I love looking at your fridge and just seeing like 5, 6,
Fest
7
beers.
different fest beers in there. I'm like, nice.
yeah, I'm obsessed. But other than that, make sure to check out the Mass Brew Bros if you're a pumpkin beer drinker, or even if you're not, because there's a ton of beers on there that I think, Ryan, you would really enjoy because it's not pumpkin spice flavor. It's using pumpkin as a adjunct. It's like a flavoring. It's not what I think you expect it to be. So, moving on.
Okay.
Pink Boots news.
Pink Boots is still a thing. Definitely make sure you follow their social media, basically their Facebook page, because they've been posting a bunch of jobs and all the latest scholarships coming out there. So give them a follow. Otherwise, there's nothing like new going on.
Yeah, the brewing world has been pretty interesting right now. I think people are just kind of keeping their heads down and brewing as hard as they can because we don't really
Getting
know
ready
what's
for the cold weather.
Yeah, we don't really know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. But I know a lot of our brewery friends out there are really kicking butt right now. And the best way our listeners can help breweries is by going to their local breweries, taking a 4-pack to go, buying a sweatshirt, buying some stickers from them because you know what? We don't know what the next couple months are going to bring. So why don't you help them out right now? Because we did such a great job at the beginning of the pandemic. Let's make sure we continue to support them.
Yeah, I mean, the news I've been seeing on social media, a lot of these breweries near us are going to be starting to seat people inside. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be, right?
Well, they already are. I mean,
Yep.
the problem is like you won't be able to sit outside.
As many,
so-
You won't be able to sit outside. You'll have to sit
Yeah.
inside. Like Sylvaticus, they posted, I want to say, that they're going to be moving seating inside. True North did. And I want to say a few others in the area have done that.
Yep.
And you just you have to take it to go or you're going to sit inside. You
Yep.
know, that's really the two options you got.
Yeah, and I just want all of our listeners, go directly to the brewery. It might be a little bit more convenient to go to your local package store or your liquor store,
But it helps the brewery out more when you go
Go
directly
directly to them.
and just buy right from them.
Yeah, and I remember early in the pandemic going to a brewery as a way to just get out and you know, see a couple of the people that we love and just kind of like
this
wave
is why I
to them.
spend 3 hours after work driving to random breweries because I want to help them out. I know they're going to get the most help by me stopping by and buying beer directly from them.
You just want your stamps.
And I just really want my stamps.
Yeah. Well, this has nothing to do with the episode, but I told Jenna I'd give her a shout out. So hi, Jenna.
We love you.
Let's go to the episode. So without further ado, our good friend Mark from
2 Weeks Notice.
Take it away. Cheers.
All right, we are in West Springfield, Massachusetts, the home of Ryan. What's the home of?
2 Weeks Notice.
The Big E.
The Big E.
The
Big E.
Yeah.
I set him up for that because he's like, I hate the Big E.
No, I like it. I just don't like the amount of people. I don't like crowds.
Well, it's
but
not
the
happening
Big E is
this
a lot
year,
of fun.
so don't worry.
No.
Unfortunately,
But Matt, where are we today?
we're at 2 Weeks Notice Brewing Company, and we're here with Mark.
Hey, how's it
Maybe
going?
you might recognize his voice because he was a former on-air felon.
Back in if you listen to radio in 2002, you'd remember this voice.
Yeah, Mark the Narc, obviously, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing.
We're going to make sure we tag that in social media so we get Greg and the Morning Buzz listening to this.
Totes.
Absolutely.
Totes.
So if you ever wondered whatever happened to Mark the Narc,
Here I am. Yeah.
here he is.
Yep.
But seriously, we start every podcast by asking, what's your role at the brewery and your first memory of beer?
I am head brewer and founder of 2 Weeks Notice. And first memory of beer, I would say probably sneaking some Bud Lights behind my parents' shed.
Nice.
At a
Bud
very
lattes.
underage, probably like 17. But yeah, and then it kind of spiraled from there. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Obviously, knowing your past career, and I'm sure those Bud Lights didn't form a strong memory of beer.
No.
Passion.
Yeah. What was?
no.
What was the original plan for you?
I was gonna work in radio for a while, and then obviously that didn't work out. And then I always actually, when I was working in radio, that's the funny story. Is that so? I lived in New Hampshire, and in New Hampshire, like at that time, brew pubs were a thing, and like craft beer was starting to become a thing, and it just always intrigued me.
Any brew pubs in particular that you remember?
Portsmouth Brewery.
Yeah.
That was
T-Brew, yep.
right there. Yep. And of course, then once I moved out, there's like 14 breweries.
Of course. That seems to be your story.
Yeah. So that's kind of where the bug of brewing and like craft beer and just beer with more flavor kind of bit me. And then from there, I just once I left radio, I kind of bounced around to jobs and moved back home to the eastern part of the state of Massachusetts, Lynn, and then that's when I really wanted to start home brewing, and I couldn't because where we lived just wasn't possible. Like brewing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You need like some sort of
Tiny
space, like a back
apartment.
deck or something, or a backyard.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of people in Lynn would probably, be like, oh, why are you have an open burner on your back deck?
what are you doing, cooking meth?
You said it, not us.
Yeah. So I love Lynn. I'm just kidding. No. So that's kind of where it started. And our phone's ringing here.
Oh, they know you're here.
Yeah, cool. Leave a message. And then so then once I moved back east is when I really started drinking a lot, going to different beer bars and seeking out different craft beers. And then that just kept going and going. And then when I moved out here to Western Mass almost 10 years ago was when I started home brewing. And that's kind of where it all really started. Yeah.
So when you started home brewing, like what, I guess like when did you know you had the bug? Like when you brewed your first batch?
Yeah. So I brewed, obviously like everybody, the first batch was awful. It was like Mr. Beer Kit. It was like one of those
Solid.
Mr. Beer Kits. Yeah, my wife bought it for me for like our first Christmas when we lived out here. And then so those first two ones were like awful, the ones that they send with the kit, I was like, oh, this is awful. And then it was right kind of when Treehouse started like blowing up. This is like when they were in like the barn.
Yeah.
In like Brookfield.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
before that. Yeah. When you couldn't even you'd have to wait like 2 hours to get one growler. And And then I started like drinking that beer, and I'm like, oh, wow, this beer could be, this can be tasteful. And then I started like kind of looking into more gear and like all grain. Once I did my first all grain batch, that's when I was like, oh, okay, this is way more fun now,
Isn't it?
And then that's when I kind of like mentioned it to my wife. I'm like, because like I said, that's when Treehouse was happening. I'm like, she'll open a brewery. She's like, fuck off.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Okay.
That's the first
I
time
hate-
we've heard that. Usually it's like, oh, they're so supportive.
No, she honestly, she was. So she knew that I worked at a desk job, obviously,
Yep.
hence 2 weeks notice brewing. But, yeah, she was just like, yeah, like she knew, she saw it in me because I distinctly remember going out to eat one night and I was like talking to her about it. And she's like, honestly, this is the only thing I've seen. I played music. She's like, this is the only thing I've seen you more passionate about than like playing music. And it seems like you're really into this. So if you really want to do this, we can do this. But you got to understand this is going to be like the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. She was 100% right as usual.
Yes.
And it was the hardest thing ever. But obviously the reward, is where we're at now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. What year was this? Like 2011?
2013.
Oh, wow.
Probably, yeah.
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 And so is that at that point where you're just like homebrewing like crazy?
Constantly, yeah. So I was brewing just 5-gallon batches all the time. I had a little igloo cooler
Yep.
and a boil kettle, and that was it. And then like a couple like carboys, which are the worst. And then then I started entering some contests, and then I started like winning some contests. And I was like, okay, I think we got some legs with this, so kind of let's go from there. And then kind of the rest is history. And then I won a bigger one out here, Worthy, which is they shut down Worthington Street in Springfield downtown, and it's like 20 something homebrewers.
Wow.
It's a cool beer fest. It's like one of a kind. For me, anyway, there's like a tent with like 20 different homebrewers. And then there's a
that's
tent,
cool.
Yeah, then there's a tent with all commercial breweries.
Yeah.
Cool.
And everybody votes, and
Yeah.
I won, so it was cool.
Congrats.
Yeah.
What did you win with? Was it an IPA?
It was. It was.
Wow.
Go figure. Yeah, it
That's
was. It was Resignation, which is like one of our staple beers.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
an early version of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's changed from
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But so that's like my baby.
Yeah.
We don't have it on tap right now. I know.
I think he's lying to us.
Complete BS.
It's just in the
ladies
firm
and
tank. Just
gentlemen.
ask for it now. Just
Yeah, right.
I want it now. Yeah. Were you when you were home brewing, were you brewing IPAs because that's what you liked, or were you doing more of the Belgian styles because they're less difficult? Or?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of IPAs, pale ales, things like that. I didn't really brew any like lagers or anything like that until commercially it was brewing. I did a couple. Yeah, I did like some saisons and things like that, like easy drinker, like summer beers usually. But like I didn't even like when I was homebrewing, I never even like fruited beer. I didn't do any
Yeah.
of that stuff. Like I just did pretty much just clean IPAs, dry hopped,
Yep.
things like that. Yeah. So
Is that kind of your favorite style of brew, you think? Or has that changed now?
Yeah, I enjoy. So now the reason it comes down to, as far as like things I like to brew, it comes down to how strong I'm feeling that week. So like, we have a very manual brew system.
I bet. Yeah.
So
I see the brew buckets.
Yeah. So like Fake Saturday, it's just a session. That's like my favorite beer to brew because it's like such an easy beer. It's so easy. But then
Yeah.
like Big Riff, when it's on the production schedule, I'm like, it's a 9% double IPA. It's so much grain
Yeah.
to lift and then shovel out and all that. So I'm like, but I do love it. Like, I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
Right. The end product is great.
yeah. But when I'm doing like, this is stupid.
Yeah, right.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So let's get into 2 Week Notice. I guess I wouldn't have to guess much where the name came from.
Right.
But when did this become more of a reality than a pipe dream?
After we won the competition, we were already like thinking about opening up a brewery anyway. We were already like looking at spaces. And then it was as soon as we like signed the space and started doing demo, and it was just like, holy shit,
Yeah.
we're actually doing this.
So it was just you and your wife, correct?
So I do have a partner.
Right,
Yeah. I have a partner, Derek, who I brought on board, and this whole building is obviously thanks to him. That's why we're here.
Thanks.
Hey, Derek.
So yeah, he without him this wouldn't be possible at all. And then he just
it says it on your website, so it's like yeah.
He gave me the tools to do what we have to do, and then it just kind of has grown from there.
Yeah.
So he usually keeps a step back and lets me doesn't really step on my toes as far as the brew house goes or anything like that. So which is good.
Pretty good business relationship then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the name 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
Was that the first and only choice, or was it?
It really was.
Yeah.
It really
we never
was.
hear that actually.
Almost never.
Yeah, no, I didn't. So that's like going back to that conversation with my wife. We were both like, well, it's got to be like a good name and something that is relatable for people, because there's so many. At that time, we were like, there's so many breweries popping up, but now it's like there's so many. So we knew it had to be something relatable and that people would dig, and that I don't know, would connect with people. And I was just driving one day, and I was just like, man, I can't wait to get my 2 weeks notice. Bing, and then immediately start Googling it, like, oh, hopefully there's no breweries with that name. There wasn't, so immediately, copyrighted it and everything like that. And
to think you're the jerk that now owns that, and like
know.
someone's like, that's such a good name.
yeah,
We've asshole in Massachusetts.
We actually have had two different people reach out and be like, that was gonna be my name for like a bar I was gonna open, or same thing with a brewery. And I'm like, sorry, man.
Yeah, we're already established.
Yeah, like
there's someone in my brewery right now.
Did you see that copyright?
Yeah.
So, but usually they're cool about it. But they're like, great name. And like we have a few of our like beer names I see used throughout the country, because I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't.
Beer names is kind of tough.
Yeah. So, but other than that, like people have reached out a few times, and and so I knew that that name would kind of catch people's eye and ear, and that's like we get compliments on the name all the time. Like, oh my god, that's such a great name. So.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I don't like IPAs.
Was being local to Springfield important for you guys? Was that kind of the only choice, or did you want to?
So originally we were trying to be in Westfield.
Okay.
And then that didn't really pan out. It just wasn't like a space or anything that worked out. And originally we were like, we wanted to do something small. Like we just want to do something small, like a 2-barrel brew house and like a tiny little tap room.
Yeah, no big deal.
And then we saw this building, which had been on the market for forever, and which was like a giant freezer, basically. And
Good for a brewery sometimes.
yeah, for sure. Demo absolutely sucked, but other than that, it was great. And yeah, so we had, so my partner was my boss in my actual day job.
Oh, get out!
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious.
So the company that he ran, our original office was in West Springfield, and then we moved to a bigger office in Agawam, which is like the next town over. Yep. So I'd always been familiar with West Springfield, obviously the Big E, and it's closer to the highways, and which is really good in Springfield, like centrally located in Springfield. So once we got this building, we saw this building, we were like, this could be a good spot for, being centrally located for people to get to. It's easy on and off the highway. It's not like some destination brewery where you got to go down some country road or whatever, so
Like,
yeah, like Westfield's like tough to get to. Westfield's a little further. It's a little tougher to get to.
exit 3.
Yeah, you're right. Exit 3. You got to
Good
keep
job,
going.
Ryan.
Keep going.
That's why we call you the GPS.
You don't even use it. He
Something like that.
just yells out stuff.
I actually, on the ride
Turn
here, I
right.
was like, right here, go this way.
Yeah. So it was it, and I love. So West Springfield reminds me a lot of Lynn, where it's like
Definitely get that feel when you say that.
It's
Yeah.
like almost like a towny place, but it's still big, and like everybody still kind of knows everybody somehow. It's weird. There's so many people in the city. And it's cool, like to see, like the regulars that have come in from the town, and so that's one of like the best parts about it.
Yeah. Being in a town we're very familiar with the Lynn scene, and I know that Bentwater and
Yeah.
Lynn struggled with this at first, kind of having that community embrace craft beer,
Right.
where being very blue collar, and,
Yeah, totally.
the domestics, the buds, the Coors
Yep.
Lights,
Brazilian.
yeah, yeah. How do you get someone in here that is a Budweiser drinker or a Coors Light drinker to
Yeah.
try your IPAs?
Right, and that was a learning curve because I'm like, I'm just gonna make IPAs and everybody's gonna love them. It's like, no, that's not what people will do all the time. Like they don't want to. Some people, like you said, don't want to drink IPAs. So opening weekend, I had a Pilsner on with PTO, and it took off, and people loved it. Like we didn't can it, we just put it on tap, and people loved it. And then, yeah, once we started, like I started seeing in the sales of like Pilsners, fruited beers, things like that. That's the stuff that brings people in that don't drink IPAs. But there are a lot of people who are. I do get the compliment, like Fake Saturday. They'll be like, I don't like IPAs, but this IPA is awesome. Like, this is great. It's so flavorful. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. It's not bitter. And so there's a couple different ways to go about it, I think, to get people, in on the IPAs if they don't like them, or if they're just like, I don't want to drink a dark beer. That's it.
Yeah.
That's happened before too.
Yeah. How does that conversation go though? They come in here and be like, "What's the lightest beer you have?"
That does happen. Yeah.
Right?
It's
What's your
definitely
answer?
Yeah. If depending on what we have on tap, it's it's always rotating, but yeah, it's usually either Fake Saturday or PTO. We got a Kolschon now, which is a good easy drinking beer too. That's usually how it goes. Like I try and keep something easy on, or even usually like I said, we usually have a fruited beer. We do some sours. We do a milkshake with strawberry and mango. That's coming out next week. So it's like stuff like that is usually what will get people in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or like a dark beer sometimes, so.
And then after that first beer, are you able to convince them to try something else?
Yeah. They're usually, I haven't really been met with any nope, this is all I'm drinking. Luckily, only at Beer Fest, people are like, do you have any dark beers? I'm like, no. They're like, see ya. And they walk away. I'm like, cool. At least you're open-minded.
Yeah, right.
Do you remember when Beer Fest used to be fun and cool?
Yeah, I know. Remember
Do you
that?
remember?
Remember hanging out in large crowds with people? That was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if that will ever happen again.
What was the last beer fest we were at? It was in Worcester.
Yeah, it was Brew. And
Brew.
It was so
Yeah.
shitty. No offense to Brew. It was just I had been there.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
I had been there 5 years previous, and it was the best time of my life. And I was like, I'm 30. That's why it's not fun anymore.
Things have changed.
Yeah. It was like, I don't need to drink White Claw for the 1500th time.
Yeah. Woof.
Woof. Yeah. So
That's a great
actually,
one right there. Yep.
speaking of hard seltzers,
Yeah.
is that something that you guys dabble in at all?
No.
No.
Why?
No, and I've been asked. I know. I get asked all the time. I just don't. I don't want to.
You can't do it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I can't do it.
Because we hear a lot that, the seltzers is what almost prints the money. Like before it
Oh,
was
I get it.
IPAs. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
IPAs is what paid the bills.
I
But
totally
now
get
all
it.
of a sudden
Yeah.
seltzers more than that. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny because right before we opened, I really wanted to do a cider, a hard cider.
Yeah.
Because that I'm cool with. That I could drink myself, and I
That's
think that's a good gluten-free option for people.
Definitely.
It's considered a wine though.
Right. So we'd have to get we'd have to get another license.
Another license.
Yeah.
It'd have to be brewed in a completely different space than this.
No, I don't think so. You just have to get a wine
License of
farm
something?
wine license or something, whatever it's called. But yeah, and you just get the pressed cider and then go from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's maybe I get, like you said, I get it. When I saw Night Shift doing it, I'm like, damn. They're so smart, but they're but they've been at it. They've been at it forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're we're a startup. I'm not gonna just come out of the gate with seltzers and
Right.
everything else to get people in here. I mean,
Right.
obviously we want to bring people in, but we want to do that with an atmosphere, with good quality, clean beers and things like that, and not just be like, here's this, this, this is popular now. Here's this, so I don't want to.
Well, I think it would, it would tie into, having something for everyone.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And I get that. And and that's why we start doing sours and things like that.
What are you giving me that face for?
I don't know why you're telling him to do what he wants.
I'm not.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I get it. That's honestly,
Jesus.
that's where we kind of like skipped over the seltzers was putting sours on, and
Yeah.
that's when
It's a good compromise.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
sense.
That's I was like, I'm not gonna do a seltzer, but I'll do a sour.
Yeah.
You know? So, and the people are loving it. Like we do them. We're on, so we do it as like a series. Yep. It's called the Severance Package series, and
You're
we're
in
up,
17.
That's
we're
great.
up to well, that's performance review. That's another series.
Okay.
So that's
sorry.
get your series right, man.
Come on.
No, so the performance reviews are just like IPAs or whatever I want to play around with, yeast or hops or whatever. And then
Cool.
Severance Package is like our sour series. So we're on the 6th one is coming out in 2 weeks or so.
Kettle sour.
Yeah, kettle sour. We've done a few different ones. The first one was just like raspberry and something, I forget. And then the second one was orange, peach, and mango.
Yep.
Third one was a margarita one, which did really well.
Oh, fancy.
And then the last one we just did was a raspberry lemonade.
Ooh,
People
nice.
loved it. So
Nice.
yeah, next one's a watermelon, like a Sour Patch Kid.
Oh,
So
Fun. Fun.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'll be back.
And let's just take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsors. Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4-Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWROOTS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service where you can get some of the dopest brewery t-shirts out there. I'm talking breweries from Dallas, San Diego, and even our home area of New England. And you might ask, how do I get my hands on some? Well, we're here to help you out. By using our promo code BREWROOTS, you can get your first box for $5. Tell me where you can get a t-shirt for $5. Oh wait, you can't. But you can today by going over to shirtsontap.com and using our promo code BREWROOTS, you get your first box for $5. Remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts.
To kind of address the elephant in the room, obviously we're living through COVID
yeah.
right now. How has that changed the plan for you guys business wise?
It's so at first we were lucky enough, so we have the patio out there, but on the side of the building it's like a alleyway, so we had a drive through
Ooh.
when we first shut down.
That's
so when the
fun.
tap room
Yeah, I
shut
remember
down.
seeing that for the
Yeah. So we shut down and we were doing it in a drive through and people loved it. It was awesome. We did really well. People were like bummed when we're like, oh, we're opening up the tap room finally. And they're like, what about the drive through? I'm like, well, that's the patio, so you can't drive through it. Yeah. So, so we were doing that. And then, then once we were able to at least open up the tap room, it was still, we were only doing the outdoor seating at first, which was phase 2 or
And
whatever
then
it was.
It seemed to rain
Whatever
every
phase.
friggin' day.
Or it was like 90 and people were like, sweating. So it sucked. But people were cool. Like people came out. We were doing better with the drive through at first. And then now things are starting to pick up. And then of course they changed restrictions again. So we'll see. But like I said, people have been pretty good with the new one about having to get a food item with your first beer. Like nobody's been like, this is stupid.
That's good.
That's
so everybody seems to be, I don't know, okay with it.
And you actually have food on site now as well.
Yeah, luckily, thank God. Thank God. We were like, let's put a kitchen in, we were just like, we love a lot of the food trucks. All the food trucks are awesome. We were just like, when we wouldn't have a food truck, people would be like, do you have food? And be like, no, we don't have a food truck today or whatever. And they'd be like, ugh. And like, not. I'm like, that's what decides why you don't come to a brewery. Like, whatever. But so we're like, we just kind of got fed up with that. And we're like, let's put a kitchen. We had this small space that really wasn't getting used that much.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people sat over there, but not really. It was like where you sat people who you didn't like or something.
Right.
And so we put a kitchen in, and these guys from Blazing Johnny's, they were another food truck that we always had. They were all like 4. They're like, if you do one, we'll run it. I'm like, okay, I'll hold you that.
All right.
We did the build out, and they did it, and they've been here ever since. So, but yeah, thank God we did it because we were able to open up earlier.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, there's a lot of people that like friends of mine in the industry that haven't been able to open up yet. And it
Yeah.
sucks.
It's terrible.
So-
or
Yeah.
they've been able to open up and then they have to close.
or or they're
Yeah.
just doing to-go cans or whatever.
Right.
You know,
Really
so,
sad.
yeah. So it's tough. It's such a weird time. But.
What month in 2019 did you open?
So we started selling cans out of the front of the building December of 2018.
Oh, okay.
Just cans,
Yeah.
while we were still building the
Yeah.
tap room out, and then the tap room opened up May 17th of 2017.
Wow.
So
That's like a
we just had the 1
Yeah.
year anniversary.
I'm sure it was a
basically.
rager, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We just put out a beer because we were doing the drive-through. Like, here's our 1 year anniversary beer.
come by.
Next year's
pick
gonna be
it
so much better.
up.
Yeah. God damn, I hope so.
Second
Yeah,
1
I
year
do too.
anniversary.
Yeah. So we'll see.
The beer that you're most known for would be.
West Side Big Slide or Resignation.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I see a lot of like, I get to leave my job kind of ideas. Was that kind of like the premise of the whole thing?
Yeah, it was a lot of it was like in the names and stuff were like a lot of early on names, like Casual Friday and Resignation, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's some stuff that like Severance Package is probably the last one that's like the newest one that is related to work related things. And now I'm like kind of I don't know, like I
Kind
just
of run out of ideas.
I just
or
named
whatever.
beer like now at this point I'm like I like that song, that's gonna be a beer name or whatever. You know what I
Done.
mean? Or like it just if it just fits the beer, it sounds
Yeah.
weird. But if it just fits the beer, that's usually what I name it now at this point. So, but
So
people
talk-
still love them. So
Talking about music, do you oftentimes like play that music that you kind of pair the beer with, or maybe what are you listening to when you're brewing?
we listen to a lot of stuff. We listen to mostly we like to call it white boy reggae, which is
What is white boy reggae?
white boy reggae. Like Dirty Heads.
Oh, okay.
Things
okay.
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. All right, all right, yeah.
It's like close to fish, but not fish.
You're right.
Right.
'Cause I do not like fish. But anyway, I had this discussion the other day with somebody.
We won't go there.
We'll have it off air.
No. So yeah, we listen to a lot of that, but we also I have an assistant, Jeremy, who we both like played in bands separately. He's
Yeah.
from this area.
Jeremy.
Hey, Jer. We call him Jer to God. But he played in like hardcore metal bands for a while. I played in hardcore metal bands out east, and then but now we're like old dudes, so we listen to like reggae and like stuff like that. But
Right,
every
right,
once in a
right.
while, we'll be like cleaning at the end of the day, we're like, put on Every Time I Die, and blast it, So
Put on a Wilhelm screen.
yeah. So or it's like Wyclef John. Like we don't give a
Just as
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. But so we listen to almost everything. We listen to like a ton of 311 just because we're like old dudes and like we listen to that shit.
I feel that.
So, but
That's
we do always. So Big Riff is a Cave-In song. I don't know if you know who Cave-In is, but they're from the eastern part of the state. It was like one of my favorite bands. And I play bass, and the bass player died in like a car accident. So I was like, fucking name a beer after Big Riff. Like that was my favorite song. So we always do. Every time we do actually brew Big Riff, we listen to Big Riff.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome.
So it's
Yeah.
like a mandatory thing we do.
Definitely. Very cool.
One thing that kind of drew me to your can art is your beer is the can art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who does
Really?
it? One thing I like about your beer is cans. And
Oh, see you later.
yeah. I don't care about the
This
beer. I just like the can.
This has been a great interview. We'll see her way out
Yeah.
now.
So who does the can art?
A gentleman by the name of Eric Clark, local guy, awesome dude. Used to be like same thing. Was in a bands forever. A skateboarder, like old school dude.
Seems to be a theme here.
Yeah. His my brother-in-law was the guy he was the one who introduced me. He's like, yo, this dude Eric. He's like, I know you're looking to do cans eventually. This dude Eric does artwork. He does like he did posters for like their dirt bike races and shit. He's like, check these out. I'm like, that's cool. So I invited him over. He brought like his portfolio. I was like, this is fucking perfect. Like, you know, so, and he's like one of those dudes I can just be like, here's the beer name. Like, and he'll be like, cool. And then like 2 hours later, he'll be like, what do you think of this? I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Or like,
So awesome.
or I'll
I
have
love
an
that.
idea and he'll just nail it. Like,
Yeah.
Rarely are we like, nah, like going back and forth, and you know, like 3 or 4 times. It's
Yeah.
like usually like, this is my idea. He's like, psh, nailed it. So you know,
That's awesome.
but yeah, he's a good dude. He's like he teaches art for kids and shit now, and
Nice.
he's like an old dude.
Seems like a sweetheart.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. You know, so
Is that who does the art on the walls as
yeah,
well?
most of that's his. Yeah, So,
Really
yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah, he did skateboards for theory and stuff.
those
Did like this painting behind me, like freehand.
Ooh,
He did the
nice.
doors. Those are all.
I love the
Yeah.
doors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He did those. So yeah,
Super cool.
Thank God
Yeah.
you didn't ask me. That would look terrible.
I don't know if you would be able to
It'd be
get all the
abstract.
way.
That's the actual label to Westside Big Slide.
Ooh, nice.
So, and then on this door is resignation. You just can't see it, but
That's
Oh,
so
okay,
cool.
cool.
It's just amazing when someone can do something like freehand and just be like,
Yeah.
yep, this looks really, really fucking
I'm like,
good.
man, I wish it could be that cool.
Yeah.
You know, can't.
I mean, I brew beer. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Talk about the tap space. You said it used to be a freezer, but it's pretty cool. It's like
Yeah.
kind of industrial, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah, it was. So originally the front door was on the other side of the building on Baldwin Street. There wasn't even a door over here. We had to put
it's a
those
cool
in.
door.
Yeah, there was just the garage door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the demo here was we started demoing in May of 2018, and we finished.
Wow, it took a year then.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
finished like in like September. Like we demoed through the whole summer, all that. It was horrible. Yeah. This used to be
10 out of
This
10,
used to be
don't
just a
recommend.
full wall. There was no walkway or anything. We had to blow
Like
a hole
build
through the
up,
wall. Yeah. So
Wow.
first thing we got up and running was the brew house, and so we could at least do cans while we were doing the rest of this. But yeah, we probably took out. I want to say 12 or 13 of those hanging refrigeration units
Yep.
that were in like coolers. We took
Fun.
they're everywhere in here. This was a cooler. That was a cooler.
Wow.
Everything was a fucking cooler in here. So
What was this originally?
it was
Like a meat place?
It was originally a company called Angie's Tortellinis. So they used to make
Oh, so that's why you have the
right. So it was originally Angie's Tortellinis. They then moved to Westfield, and then it was like a food processing plant.
Yeah.
After that, and then it kind of sat for like 2 years, and then we were like, all right, let's check it out.
so the Angie Tortellini, which is on there, it's a kind of an homage to.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so funny. They when we were doing the drive-through, they came through the drive-through and
family,
like,
yeah.
we can't wait to come in and see what you guys have done with the building. I'm like, it looks totally different.
You
Like,
won't
You're gonna be disappointed.
it does not look anything like you remember it.
Yeah.
So
I could just totally picture and be like, yeah, that's not how I would have done it.
why'd you put the bar here?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
But-
like, God, there was a bar already out back.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, part of it, so like I'll show you guys later, but in the brew house, it already had drains in the floors and everything because it was a food processing
That's
plant,
pretty awesome.
which was like one of the biggest selling points
Yeah.
of us getting
Yeah.
the building. So
Major pain.
Yeah, it totally worked out that way.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a big space. What are you brewing on, brew house wise?
We have a 3.5 barrel
Okay.
and I double batch into sevens.
jeez.
So it's a long day.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making those big beers like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's a good depending on the beer, it's anywhere from 12 hours to 14 hours,
Oof.
depending on the beer.
Yeah.
And then firm tanks and braid tanks.
Yeah, we got 7 fermenters. So I got a couple like 3.5 barrel fermenters that I do for kind of one-off beers, and then I got 2 7s, 4 7s, and then 2 7 brights too. So yeah, so we don't really have any log jams or anything like that, which is good.
Fun.
With the kind of having a smaller brew house and firm tanks like that, is lagering and kind of a difficult thing to
Yes.
kind of commit to.
So one of the 7s that we we bought right after we opened the tap room. It's specifically just for the lagers and for pilsners and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it didn't mess
Affect.
with any of our production.
Is it a different tank or just?
It's just a regular.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a conical, but yeah, I would love to get a lagering tank.
Horizontal.
I know. I've been getting so that's the one thing we have been looking into, getting a bigger brew house, and I got a quote back for one. They like put in the horizontal lagering tank
Just for fun.
Yeah, and I
Just-
didn't even
just
ask
gonna
for
sneak
it. I'm
that
like,
in there.
why did you do that? You know I want those. How did you know? But
That's awesome.
yeah, we could probably sneak one in here. I bet. But
Oh yeah.
What's the brewing community like around here? There's a couple, but
Yeah.
when you go back to the East
East
Coast,
Coast,
yeah,
yeah.
there's a ton.
I
around.
know. I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
No, everybody's awesome around here. There's a lot of great breweries around here, and everybody's really, really cool with each other. The cool thing around here anyway is a lot of the people who have started breweries were doing home brewing. We were all like in the home brewing circuit,
Cool.
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like
It's kind of like
Vanish-
bands. You like
It is. It's so weird. Vanish Valley. Josh, he won Worthy the year before me,
Oh jeez.
and I won. And Rustic, those dudes came in like second one year. Skyline, Great Awakening. All these guys were all homebrewers. So it's kind of wild that we're all kind of now. We all have Drunken Rabbit, South Hadley.
Cool.
They've all homebrewers. It's kind of wild.
Were you guys in a club together at all, or no?
No, we all just like competed against each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's
good.
I don't even know if there was a homebrew club, and I don't think I even wanted to join one. I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep my
Too
stuff
cool
to
for that.
myself. But you guys are cool. I'll talk to you. But I never
great.
wanted to join one. I don't. Maybe there was. I don't even know. But
Yeah.
Do you still play music?
No.
No.
I mean,
You retired?
yeah.
He's an old man
Every
now.
time I pick up my guitar, my son's like, "Come on, Dada." I'm like, "What? Let me play something," or or my dogs look at me like, and they like get up and walk away. So yeah, no. I haven't played in a while.
Yeah. Do you have live music here?
We do. We haven't had it since the shutdown, but we
Right.
are looking to book into like late August. We actually have some people booked late August.
Cool.
So.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So
So what's next for you guys? Obviously, COVID's kind of muddied those waters, but
yeah,
what's next?
Plans. Yeah.
we are. We're trying to figure out what with the new restrictions and just keeping an eye on if the numbers are going to go up, if there's going to be another shutdown. So we kind of have to pivot pretty quick if that does happen. We'll probably go back to doing drive-through, but the next step...
People will be pumped.
I know.
Like, yes,
Yeah,
it's back.
I know, especially going into the fall. Who knows? But I think the next step for us is finally getting into distribution.
Okay, cool.
And just getting a bigger brew system so we can accommodate doing distribution and going from there. Because that's really... We have a good bread and butter core of people that come in here and still buy cans from us here. We do pretty well, still selling cans just right out of here.
That's awesome.
We still got, we have a good amount of tap accounts here and there around the area.
Cool.
But I think what's next is just getting our stuff into stores, heading more out east and out west and stuff like that. So
That's really cool.
yeah,
Are you planning on self-distributing or?
that's where the
kind
hang
of a
up.
question,
Yeah,
right?
that's the $1 million
Stay tuned for
question.
more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we could. That involves more money put into it on our end,
Yeah.
or
Time, effort.
time. Yeah, hiring somebody to
Right,
do it.
right.
Time is money.
Yeah, because as it is right now, I just deliver all the kegs and whatever.
Right,
So
right.
I'm not gonna be able to do all that if we're doing cans to
Yeah.
stores.
Christ. Especially if you're going out east, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd rather hook up with somebody who has a pretty good footprint out that way. So I think we'll probably go into a distributor,
Yeah.
a distributor probably.
right.
So we'll see.
Before we get too far, let's crack open a fresh beer and hear a word from our sponsors.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brute sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer, So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
I kind of want to get to know what you're drinking at home to kind of inspire some of the beers. What's in your fridge?
Right now I have I drank a Fox Farm last night,
Ooh,
which was
fancy.
real good. I have New Park, bunch of New Park. Yeah, New Park's really great.
Where are they out of?
East Hartford, West Hartford.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So where I live in Southwick, I'm like, it's the little notch in Massachusetts, so I'm like super close to
Ooh.
Connecticut, so it's easy
Fancy.
to get down there and grab
Nice.
beers. But
Nice.
but yeah, so I drink a lot of and I'm always like out seeking pills.
Okay.
Like I love pills personally to drink.
Do you
especially-
have a favorite?
a favorite? Yeesh.
It better be PTO.
Yeah, I mean, I do drink. I will take a 4-pack home and drink that in one night usually. But I like Oxbow. Lupolo
Yeah.
has one. That
Yeah.
one's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep, that Italian Pilsner.
It's
so good.
That's like the one I want to make next.
I just gave it to you. It was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
probably
Yeah.
one of the best.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I
Father knows
had
what he's
one
doing.
from Bunker that was real good. That was a Mexican lager with lime in it.
Cool.
That was really
Mexican
good.
lager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did one. We sold all. I mean, we did it back in May, and it's called Weekend Warrior.
Nice.
It's got a lucha libre wrestler on it. It's pretty sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite beers to drink too
Yeah.
that we make. So
So you mentioned you used to snag some Bud Lattes. Is that a guilty pleasure beer for you now, or do you have
I will absolutely drink Coronas. I like the Corona style.
nothing wrong with that?
Modelo's.
Honestly, Corona and lime, man.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
beat it.
I hate people who hate on that. It's
Right?
like, come on, man. It's such a like, if I can make a beer that was tastes like this
Right?
every single time, you kidding me?
Yeah, consistency.
Consistency?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I drink a lot of, I'll reach for a Corona Modelo, any of those. I've just been like really into easy drinking beers lately.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of my old age.
No, it's just good.
Yeah.
It's just good.
Sometimes I just don't want to think about a beer. I just want to drink it.
Somebody said
You
to
know?
me
And
like,
have more than one?
Yeah, and not get
What?
wasted.
somebody's like, you can't eat a filet mignon every night. It's like
Right.
the best way it's ever been put
Yeah,
to me.
like I listened. All right, I heard Dan Suarez from Suarez Brewing, and he was just like, "It can't be fireworks every time you drink a beer."
yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
that's totally right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. You know, but I don't know.
We
That's,
can try.
you could try. Yeah, that's what I try to make every time I make a beer,
Right.
but it's not necessarily what I want to drink all the time.
Right.
You know?
No, definitely.
Are a lot of your recipes homebrew recipes that you get, or stuff that you? I mean, obviously, you didn't do pilsners or lagers. one year
Yeah.
ago.
So Resignation. I'm trying to think which ones. Resignation, Fake Saturday. Those are probably the two most home brewed beers that I made. But I've even tweaked those since then.
Yeah.
You know, for the Big Riff was a home brew as well, but that's totally changed. So I've but the rest I've just like done since we opened for the most part. So
Sourcing local ingredients. I know, like 4 Star Farms being close to you guys, and are you guys able to source some local ingredients when you?
Do you do a wet hot beer even?
we don't. But I was actually, it's so funny you mentioned that though, but because I was thinking about doing a wet hop. Like
Call Liz, she's the best.
yeah, like lager or pilsner in the fall. You know what I mean? With some like wet hot cascades, I think would be really
Yeah.
cool. So, but I haven't really sourced a ton. I don't know. I've looked into like Valley Malt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just never pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
We're still fairly young too.
Yeah, of course.
Still, I'm like, can't wait till we get a bigger brew system. Then I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna order whatever at this point, you know. So
I feel like this is another brewery where you've only been open for a year, but I feel like you've been open for so much
Yeah,
longer.
yeah,
Like the beer
yeah.
is
Same.
killer, the
I
place
still-
is great. Yeah.
feel the same.
It's kind of that allure of like Western Mass. Like for us, it's like we really are spoiled in the area that we live
Yes.
in. So
yeah,
like
for sure.
when we hear that you guys opened, it's like, oh, they weren't opened already. Like
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It feels like like you said, it feels like it's been fucking 10 years.
Right.
But it's only been
Yeah.
like, really, really getting
14
up.
months, yeah.
Like 3 years of like battling to get open, like all the steps to get open,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just feels like it's been that long. But we're only a year into the tap room, so I can't imagine.
So my question to you is, what do you want to learn more about in the brewing process?
For me, it's more about just better techniques. I'm always looking and reading and trying to figure out what I could do better. It also depends on like your brew system, what works best for your brew system, things like that. I'm always looking into different dry hopping techniques. Tried a few different ones. I kind of know which ones I like that work the best. And then as far as sour beers, it's just hitting the right acidity, hitting the right pH, things like that. So, because that seems to be our highest selling beers are now our kettle sours and still the IPAs. But so those are like the two that I'm like pretty focused on. I'm also focused more on, especially lately, brewing better dark beers. And I think like that's I would say if I was to call out a weakness myself would be dark beers. Like we have an Imperial Stout that's awesome but I only brew it like twice a year. So I'm looking to put a good porter on pretty soon. So
Nice.
I've been like, that's the thing is like we didn't do sours forever because I was like I never did a sour like when I homebrewed. Never did a kettle sour or anything like that. So I literally researched for like 6 months before I even brewed it, so and luckily it turned out good, which is, thank God.
Yeah.
But
Isn't it cool when that happens?
yeah. First shot. I'm like, sweet. All right, doesn't taste like vomit. Awesome.
Yay. Going back to techniques, what is a dry hop technique? Like kind of how long do the dry hops in there for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So there's that. There's time on the hops. There's temperatures.
Yep.
A lot of people dry hop during fermentation, high krausen, things like that.
Yep.
I've tried it all. I've tried everything. I've tried it really cold. I've dry hopped at really cold temperatures. And I personally enjoyed the beer that I dry hop cold more than And it was
Just the flavors you get off of it?
you don't pull so much astringency out of it.
Yeah.
You get more of the depending on the hop, but like more of the orange melon, like really soft flavors that you get from a hop, so
Not as bitter.
not as bitter. Yeah. Super soft. Like the one of the beer, we just made a beer back in July called America. And
Nice.
it was America. It was so it was like an acronym. So M was Mosaic, E was El Dorado. It was like
All the hops. Yeah, yeah.
Citra, Amarillo, all that shit. Yeah. So
Oh, so it actually had meaning to it. And
Yeah.
that's cool.
and so it was like a shitload of hops. So I'm like, I
that's a
can't
lot
just
of
like
hops.
dump all these all in at once. So I did a couple. I did that was almost like a 3-stage hop, dry hop, where I did one. Yeah, I did one. I did a very small one at like tail end of fermentation, one around 58, and then one around like 40.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Real cool.
Yeah, and it was like the softest IPA we've had out of there. So
That's awesome.
I was really into it. So stuff like that. Yeah, I'm always tweaking. And then certain beers I don't touch as far as like what I did because I'm like, these are fine. But I'll try it every once in a while. I'll get in my head and be like, all right, let's try it.
Do you ever, I know you have a professional homebrew system here, but do you ever whip out the old homebrew system for pilot batches?
I have not.
Yeah.
I actually gave most of my homebrew stuff to a friend of mine.
Cool.
Because he started homebrewing. So I'm like, dude,
Pass
I got
it
all this-
forward, pay it
yeah, I'm
forward,
like, I
yeah.
got all this equipment, man. I'm not using it. I want you to have it. And so he has like my kettle, my cooler, my SS brew bucket, like all that stuff that I use. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a dream collaboration?
That'd be really tough. I would say if anybody, it'd be John Kimmick from Alchemist in Vermont.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
They're in Vermont.
they're in Vermont.
Right.
Oh, Vermont. You don't say
That.
Stowe?
Yeah. No, they like I said, they just the way that guy carries himself, the way they run that business, the way he doesn't adhere to like what the popular style might be or whatever. I have so much respect for what that guy does. So, but I don't know if that would ever happen in my lifetime. So
We have his email, so if you want it,
We'll hook you guys up.
help you out.
Yeah.
Do you have his phone number?
No.
John?
Probably not.
No,
John, this is Mark.
This is fine.
You might have heard
Mark in
of me
Springfield.
because I was Mock the Knock back in 2002.
He's gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
Click.
Oh, jeez.
What are you selling?
So we wanted people to come to the tap room. Where are you guys located physically and on the internet?
Yeah, we are physically 110 Bosworth Street, West Springfield, Massachusetts, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a Twitter. I don't know.
We have one too. We don't use it.
I
So it doesn't
never
matter.
use
We
it.
do too. Yeah.
I'm not big on Twitter. So best way, and we have a website, 2 Weeks Notice Brewing.
Oh, yeah,
.com.
website.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I know, so old school, right? No one goes to websites anymore.
You guys don't have a MySpace.
Maybe we should though.
That would be cool. You should.
We'll be the first brewery to really pioneer that.
Snapchat.
Yeah, we'll go on MySpace and we'll put a song on our page.
I was going to say, yeah.
You know what? You should
right.
just put brewing noises and people will sleep to brewing noises. Like ASMR. Like
yeah,
brewing.
yeah. That sound, that's the burner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, any of the social media outlets, we're on there. So check us out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, cool. Me too. My turn. All right. So I don't know. We always like to end with, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of.
Doesn't have to be brewery related.
No.
Open-ended.
Oh man, now you throw that out. There you go.
Dun, dun,
Great job
dun.
interrupting.
My dad brain's gonna kick in.
Right.
My son.
Aw.
No. I don't know.
Not you.
That's not what I meant. He is the best. He's the best. No. I don't know. As far as this, like just still being open after a year,
For sure.
it's really, really hard to be a
Yeah.
startup. I'm most proud of the people that work for us, the patrons that come in here. My wife for sticking through this shit.
She's listening.
Yeah, that's really what I'm most proud of is the kind of what we've created here with the people that come in. And, I don't know. It's when I walk through, I like practically know everybody's name, which is to me might sound cliche, but I think it's like one of the best parts of it for sure.
I think that's kind of the charm of this area.
It's the second time we've heard that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just the community of
it's
this area.
It's a very tight knit community for sure.
Big city, but you know everyone.
Yeah. So that's what I'm most proud of. People dig it, and I know them all for the most part.
Well, Mark,
cool.
thanks for taking some time out of your afternoon to do
Yeah.
this.
Thanks for coming out.
No problem. I can't wait to come back and
Yeah.
when things are a little bit more normal,
I
see a
know.
live band and chug some beers with you guys.
Let's go. We can chug beers right now. Let's go, guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, until next time, cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode with our new friend Mark from 2 Weeks Notice. We really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to listen to this, whether you guys are in traffic, getting away from your angry boss, or just, listening on your way home. We really do appreciate it. And we also really appreciate it when you guys go out and share our episode, because that helps us out more than you can even imagine. So if you haven't done so, please go tell your dog, tell your significant other, tell your boss that you hate, tell your friends. Because we want more listeners, because that is what gets the awesome interviews that we have here.
I also just want to see your dog listening to our podcast.
Yeah, please do that and tag us, and we will share it,
Everywhere.
and everyone will love it.
Yeah, everyone will love it. So until next week, we have an awesome episode lined up for you. Does anyone have a clue what we're doing next week?
No.
Well, I have to just say it's sustainable. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, catch you guys next week. Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.